Jordan Peterson has been doing this very bizarre thing on Twitter. I don't know why he's doing it, but he's typing all of his tweets in this weird format that you see on screen right here, where it's almost like he's trying to make it like a poem, but it's a weird poem, and oftentimes what he says doesn't rhyme. I don't know what's going on with this dude. I mean, he's been struggling for quite a while, but now it is really out there for the whole world to see. So anyway, Jordan Peterson has a hate boner for Nathan J. Robinson because Nathan wanted to debate Jordan Peterson, and Jordan Peterson sort of brushed him aside and, acts like he's an idiot because Nathan wrote a really long article about Jordan Peterson being basically a trash intellectual, but he's sort of like the intellectual we deserve, I believe was the idea of the piece. But Nathan J. Robinson tweeted, "My colleague, whoever Lefty MD is, shout out to Lefty MD, apparently a writer for Current Affairs, lays out the left case for Cornel West and defends one of our greatest socialist intellectuals against some unbelievably fair attacks." So what Nathan is referring to there is, of course, you have Cornel West originally announced a run for president with the People's Party. When he realized all the massive issues with the People's Party and realized it's not really a serious organization, he decided, well, I'll try to run with the Green Party. And there has been certain attacks coming from certain people that are kind of below the belt and acting like, Cornel West is not a great lefty thinker when he has a track record of being a, sort of an amazing guy, certainly inspirational guy. I love a lot of what he said over the years. So just Nathan Robinson defending Cornel West. Jordan Peterson chimes in and says, "There are no great socialist intellectuals by definition." Where do I begin with this? Jordan Peterson, when he first came on the scene, his main thing was more psychology stuff and self-help stuff, and he was able to amass a big following basically by laying out sort of common sense ideas for people to help themselves in their own lives. It's the whole, clean your room thing. And he tried to come across as, hey, look, I'm kind of a moderate, I'm kind of a centrist, I may even be like a classical liberal. And his public persona was more in accordance with that. But then as time went on, he became slowly but surely more conservative and more conservative and more conservative. Then he ended up with the Daily Wire, where he's really letting his freak flag fly here. And he appears to be doctrinaire, totally down the line, just standard issue right-winger. So for him to come out and say this, look, I need everybody to understand something. This is the most sloppy and intellectually lazy thing I've ever read in my life. Look, Jordan, I get it. You don't like socialists. You don't like lefties. Everybody knows at this point that that's how you feel. You don't like them. You don't like them. But that doesn't mean you could say something so brazenly untrue as there are no socialist intellectuals. Do you realize how much of a garbage statement that is? Look, as somebody on the left, I can admit there are literally, and I'm not kidding about this, fascist intellectuals. Now, I don't think they're right. I think they're wrong, but I cannot deny the objective reality that there were some philosophical thinkers who were partial to aristocracy, to fascism, to a number of different ideologies that I don't subscribe to. So just to give you an idea, socialist intellectuals, I don't know. Let's think. Noam Chomsky, a libertarian socialist, an anarcho-syndicalist. George Orwell, a guy who the right likes to, claim wrongly. Fred Hampton, Eugene Debs, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, John Rawls, MLK, Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was a socialist. John Stuart Mill, Bertrand Russell. I'm just naming a few. We can go on. Now, again, Jordan, you might not agree with these people, but to pretend like, they're just not intellectuals. I mean, that is, I was going to say it's bordering on dishonest, but no, it is just dishonest. It is just dishonest. In the same way that it would be dishonest for me to say, hey, even though I'm not a right-winger, there are definitely right-wing intellectuals. They exist. I don't agree with them. I think sometimes they're massively wrong, but I can't just pretend like they're not intellectuals. Guys, fascist intellectuals. Nietzsche is considered kind of fascist. These are people who sort of inspired Adolf Hitler, Kierkegaard, Heidegger, Hegel. I mean, Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, which I think is factually correct, birthed this whole school of thought, which was factually wrong. It was junk science. It's called eugenics, and that helped inspire Nazis and racists. I mean, the whole idea, this whole notion of racism, people thought it was grounded in science, that racism was scientific. Now, Charles Darwin can be correct on evolution, but eugenics can be wrong. And so his ideas could have been true, but also inspired some far-right atrocities and terrible stuff. But that doesn't mean I can sit here and say, well, he's not an intellectual, or he's wrong about evolution too, because the stuff that it led to. That's how a child thinks, man. That's how a child thinks. So it's really astonishing to see just how far he's fallen. Because at this point, I have no idea how he can command such fawning adoration from such a large audience. When, again, this stuff is just lazy. This stuff is just sloppy. One of the arguments I've heard Peterson himself make with the crowd he used to run in, the intellectual dark web types, the Sam Harris types and all those, is like, hey guys, if you want to be honest, what you have to do is steelman your opposition. So make the best case you can for your opponent and then respond to it. Because that's honest dialogue and discourse and debate. That is also stimulating mentally. Like, that's the way you approach these things, with a clear mind and a clear heart and with honest intentions. But I've never seen anything more the opposite of it than what we see here. I mean, it's just dishonest. It's just dishonest. It's just stupid. It's just dumb. He knows. He knows that they're socialist intellectuals. Didn't he do a debate with one of them, Slavoj Žižek, I think? He did a debate with one of the people you're claiming don't exist. And didn't he dodge a debate with Richard Wolff? And he's also bending over backwards to not have a conversation with Nathan J. Robinson. I'm actually one of the few lucky ones, somebody on the left, who got to sit down with him. And you guys can go watch that interview and judge for yourself what you think about his points and what you think about my points. But, I mean, look, dude, you're not even trying anymore. You're not even trying anymore. I don't know what's going on in this dude's head, but, and we haven't even gotten into his position on trans stuff, which over time has gotten more extreme and more extreme and more extreme. Haven't even gotten into that. But Jesus Christ. There you go. No great socialist intellectuals. A comment laughable even to anybody on the right who is honest. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.